Hi everybody, welcome to Ecodriver. My name is Helmut. Today I show you with the Toyota CHR 2.0 hybrid how to easily stay below 4 liters per 100 kilometers without being an obstacle to other road users. On the contrary, you will see that we could probably be even more efficient if not for other slow car movers. This car has the 2-liter 4-cylinder Atkinson engine with 112 kilowatts combined with an electric motor of 80 kilowatts. Of course, we have the splendid HSD system, which is known to be the most efficient hybrid system on the market. The traction battery contains 1.3 kilowatt-hours gross and the unladen weight is 1,496 kilograms, 3,291 pounds. WLTP consumption is 5.3 liters per 100 kilometers, NEPD is 4.0 liters per 100 kilometers, but I am pretty sure we will beat that as we did with all Toyotas so far. On Sprit Monitor DE, I found the average consumption of 5.3, the lowest with 4.3, the highest with 7.5. In case you don't know the Ecodriver Loop yet, you can see it here. We start at the southern outskirts of Innsbruck, go out of town for about a kilometer with a 30 kilometer speed limit before we hit the climb of around 6 kilometers, which elevates us 360 meters, 1100 feet, followed by some rolling hills and a descent, an open road section with speeds between 30 and 100 kilometers per hour, motorway, and at the end 18 kilometers, 11 miles of city traffic. At the end of every section, we check the overall and sectoral consumption, and at the end of the trip, we analyze the whole data. The cameras will be on all the time. A, to show how I am driving to achieve this consumption, and B, to prove that there's no need to drive slow in order to be efficient. Now enjoy the trip and I'll talk to you later. At the top of the climb, we see 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers on the board computer. We are now approaching the hills, and there it helps to use the change of gradient if you want to drive efficiently. Imagine a roller coaster. When it goes down, you accelerate. When it goes up, the speed is naturally reduced. To a certain extent, you can do the same with your car. Build up some momentum when going down and use this kinetic energy that is stored in the movement of the car into the next flat or uphill section. When it goes up, reduce the speed slightly. You can re-accelerate when it gets flat or even downhill. Especially with hybrid, this makes sense as if you are able to adjust with your right foot or with the EV button to get the petrol engine to switch off just before or on the top. This definitely helps you to save fuel. As with less energy used on the way down, you normally couldn't do this in EV mode. At the end of the hills, we see 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers. We now hit the descent, and here we have two issues, which ironically cancel each other out in this case due to the length of the descent. One is the relatively low power output of the electric motor, which will affect the regen of braking energy. as the small motor won't be able to produce enough power to brake the car, especially from higher speeds or when braking harshly. So the friction brakes are used, and you don't convert all the potentially possible energy from braking into electricity. So it's important to brake gently. However, with the length of this descent, that's not much of an issue, as the small battery will be full pretty quickly anyway. So you're fine with using a bit of energy on the descent. In this case, we have 2 flat sections. But if you have a short descent, keep in mind that electric braking power is limited. At the end of the descent, we have 4.3 liters per 100 kilometers. We are now approaching the open road section. We basically go on the main road towards east with some small towns and villages. Speeds are between 30 and 100 kilometers an hour, 20 to 60 miles per hour. At the end of the open road, we have 3.8 liters per 100 kilometers. With Toyota hybrids, it's very easy to make the petrol engine to go off by just lifting the gas pedal a little bit. And you as a driver still know best when this could make sense, as you see the traffic situation, the topography of the road, or what you're going to do next, for example, make a tight turn or whatever. On the motorway, we are restricted to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles per hour for the next 17 kilometers, 11 miles. .9 liters per 100 kilometers at the end of the motorway. Coming to the city section now, it's important to try to avoid braking and coming to a standstill, as accelerating uses way more energy than you'll ever be able to get back from braking. Try to keep the vehicle in motion by reading the road and anticipating what other road users will be doing. we are coming to the end of this trip, and we see here a consumption of 3.8 liters per 100 kilometers. When we check the percentage of electric driving, we see 61%, which I think is an excellent result, not for me, but for the car, that this is even possible. Now let's have a look at the details. Here we see the overall and sectoral consumption of the trip with the Toyota CHR. I find these numbers impressive throughout. 4.1 on the motorway and at constant 100 kilometers an hour, below 4 on the hills as well, and the 3.8 overall. Comparing this to other hybrids, we see that only the Yaris Cross is just a bit better, but in general you see that Toyota hybrids are way ahead of everybody else. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, with the real uses consumptions, it's possible to use double the amount of fuel easily. Especially with hybrids, the driver, or better, the driving style, has an enormous influence on the consumption, as this is partly an electric vehicle, where with its high efficiency, the external factors play a much bigger role than with ICE cars. But here you also have even more options to influence the consumption. For example, with your right foot, when you lift your foot, the combustion engine goes off and you're in electric mode. Of course, many other factors play a role, and it's down to the car to finally decide whether the engine goes off or not. But if you think now it would make sense and you try it and it goes off, that's great. And within a certain limit, it's down to the driver to decide himself when this happens. If you want to know more about how to drive hybrids really efficiently, I've done a video with 5 tips how to do this. And down here you find the video with my consumption test with the Toyota Yaris Cross hybrid, which I've mentioned earlier. If you're generally interested in what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you won't miss any new video. Thanks for watching, take care, see you next time.